Hey y'all, it's Connor from Bigfoot Anonymous. I'm here at the Altha Public Library celebrating the grand reopening. After the storm, this place received significant damage and now they remodeled it and it's looking amazing. I'm here donating one of my copies of Big Brother Bigfoot to the stacks. It has some local stories and of course I just want to share awareness. But they're letting me read one chapter here also to spread the word. Thank you guys. The Ocheesee Pond Wildman, Calhoun County, Florida. In the late 1800s, a large feral man of the shadows was wreaking havoc on a small swamp village not far from Black Lagoon. The creature of the dark was terrorizing children, killing livestock, and hurling out blood-curdling screams in the night. A group of hunters and soldiers tracked the monster and captured the wild man deep in the cypress. They believe he was an escaped mental patient and he was sent to the state hospital. He died a few years later, but his descendants have been spotted many times over the last century. In October 2018, right after Hurricane Michael ripped our region apart, I had some strange occurrences in my panhandle trailer. There were trees and debris sprawled in every direction. My windows were broken and the outside sheeting and skirting were miles away. We didn't have power for 26 days, and we were one of the lucky ones. The nights were dark, hot, and silent. The first few nights after the storm, I had trouble sleeping. The loud crashes and thrashes from the hurricane would return, and I would roll over in my bed. The human body was never supposed to experience something so intense. I truly felt sorry for those in war. The night terrors and roaring skies pummeled me into submission. It crossed my mind that moving down south may have been a mistake. The soil was stained and we were all scarred. The cries of my mother watching all her fruit trees tumble over in her newly acquired dream home really stung. But luckily, I evacuated my trailer and made it over to her sturdy home. One of my neighbors was rolled over and another roof was ripped off. I'm glad we were safe, but the trauma was still very real. My heart goes out to the 60+ people that were killed by Michael. In the middle of the night during the blackout, I'd feel a banging on the sides of my single wide. It was loud and vibrated the entire frame. It would wake me up and stir my cats up, but most of the time I'd fall right back asleep. It happened 5 or 6 times. It felt like a dream, but most of the day did as well. We were surrounded by debris and split trees. It begins to play tricks on the mind. I couldn't tell if it was something targeting my trailer or if it was PTSD. One night, it was strong enough to get me to peek out the window. I looked outside and to my surprise caught a glimpse of a large white blur and some wild dogs running, barking off towards the woods. I scribbled, FL, heard something, late night, 3 a.m., looked out the window, saw something white and big in my journal and went back to sleep. Another hunter in the area told me that the activity picked up right after storm as well. He and his neighbor heard loud trampling and a path being cleared through the fallen trees. I hope they sensed the storm and found safety. But that weird window of a couple days after a natural disaster could have cryptids, creatures, and the common folk on the same path of survival. My friend Ronnie has been hiking these creeks for decades now and has many encounters with the creature. He is lucky enough to find a thumb bone of a giant. The first metacarpal bone was almost bigger than my entire thumb. The petrified fossil was very heavy in my hand. He also found a shoulder blade deep in the clay. Remnants surround us. I had a encounter about 30 miles from the pond with the stump jumper. June 5th, my friend and I did a nighttime hike for the eclipse. My companion, Ronnie, is former military and a lifelong hunter and tracker. We had ventured to Bellamy Bridge, which was known to be a paranormal hotspot. The hike is short but creepy at nighttime. A blanket of mist covers the path and Japola River swamps. We were out there for a few hours. We told scary stories, meditated, and just listened to the woods of the worlds of the forest. We were talking about the swamp thing and heard a loud hooting call from the distance. It stopped us in our conversation's tracks and rumbled our chests. I have it recorded on my GoPro camera. Ronnie tried calling back but was met with no response. It was either an owl or a warning from a wild man. There was a blanket of strange vibrations sprawled out through dark forests. It was very eerie because it only hooted one time. I was well aware that both are linked to ancient legends and missing 411. For the next 45 minutes, we watched glowing orbs in the sky. It looked similar to heat lighting, but was just above the tree canopy. In the surrounding forest, an eerie feeling spread out the end of the trail. We knew something was nearby and were confirmed when we heard a large tree crash about 30 yards from us. My GoPro burned out minutes before it. Not a dead battery, it just got so hot it turned off. Strange. Could be the old batteries finally going bad, or it was infrasound. I was terrified after that loud crashing tree. I could feel it in my sternum. I envisioned Rillaboom attacking. I armed my knife and Ronnie had his hand on his protector. He joked he wished he brought his bigger one. I wish I had one. My toothpick wouldn't stop anything from snapping me in half. We did not want to hurt whatever it was, but we were ready to protect ourselves. We stayed out there another hour with minimal activity. Sometimes the entire forest would go silent and get darker even with the full moon eclipse going on. The vibes were definitely a little spooky, especially with what's going on in the world and the people in charge finally releasing those authentic UFO videos proving there are unknown and supernatural forces at play every day. But that is ancient knowledge, of course. Another time, towards the Look and Tremble Rapids, I was with my neighbor and his son hanging out along the Japola. We recorded videos talking about Seminole legends, monster gators, and religious snake handlers that passed away back here. We enjoyed the white water and skipped rocks. We did some tree knocks, and the kid did some Bigfoot calls. Right after one of his hoots, a tree branch fell. The nearby forest went silent, and we didn't stick around much longer after that. We were always searching for signs when we were out there. Guys, check it out on Amazon, Big Brother Bigfoot. And if you're ever in Calhoun County, stop by the Altha Public Library. Thanks, guys. See you later.